I would like to welcome everyone here to the ordinary meeting of Council for the 15th of October 2024, and may I add that it is our last meeting for this term of Councillors. I will start with our Council meeting information. Members of the public gallery should note that the Council records and published Council meetings via YouTube to enhance the accessibility of Council meetings to the broader Wellington community. These recordings are also archived and may be published on Council's website for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate times during the meeting, members of the gallery may address the Council, at which their image, comments or submissions will be recorded. Members of the public who are not in attendance at the Council meeting but who wish to communicate with the Council via the online web form should lodge their questions or comments early in the meeting to ensure that their submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. Please could gallery visitors, councillors and invited online attendees ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Working together to make a difference, we listen and lead to provide quality services that improve life for all. Wellington Shire Council acknowledges our offices are located on the traditional lands of the Gunai-Kurnai Nation. We pay our deep respects to their elders past, present and future and acknowledge their ongoing cultural and spiritual connections to their land and waters. Council's election period has commenced in preparation for the local government elections. During this time, Council must adhere to the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020 and Council's election period policy to ensure that no prohibited decisions are made that could unreasonably bind the incoming Council or influence the election outcome. Councillors are not permitted to use the public forum provided by the Council meeting for purposes of campaigning or to use their position to gain electoral advantage or to disadvantage another candidate. Now we'll move on to apologies. There are two apologies for this evening, Councillor Ian Bye and Councillor Crosley. The next item is declarations of conflicts of interest. Do I have any from around the table? No, but I would like to declare that I have a conflict at item 13.1, monthly planning decisions, and it's a material conflict of interest as per section 128 of the Local Government Act. Now, due to this, I will require somebody to step into this seat for that item, and we normally refer that to the past mayor. So I'd like to move a motion that I appoint Councillor Stevens to the position of temporary chair for item 13.1, monthly planning decisions, August 2024, in this council meeting dated the 15th of October 2024. And I'll need a seconder, and Councillor Rossetti has seconded that. So is there anyone opposing that? And that is correct. So we'll move on to the confirmation of minutes of the previous council meeting. And do I have someone to adopt that? Thank you, Councillor Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council adopt the minutes and resolutions of the ordinary council meeting of the 1st of October 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Does anyone oppose? Then that item is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to item 4, business arising from previous meetings. There is none. Acceptance of late and urgent items. There is nothing. Item 6, notices of motion. There is nothing. Item 7, receiving of petitions or joint letters. There is nothing. Do I have any invited addresses, presentations or acknowledgements? No. Questions on notice, there is nothing. Delegates reports, there is nothing. We'll move on to officer reports, and we have 11.1, the Chief Executive Officer's report for September 2024. Do I have a mover for that item?
Yes, Mayor. I'd certainly like to move that the Chief Executive Officer's report be received.
Thank you, Councillor Rossetti, and Councillor Wood is seconder to that. Do I have anyone opposing that motion? No, then the item is carried. We'll move on to item 12.1, the Assembly of Councillors report. Do I have someone to move that motion? Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Mackenzie.
I wish to move the Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Councillor records for the period 23rd of September 2024 to the 6th of October 2024.
Thank you, and Councillor Taddison is seconded to that. Does anybody oppose the motion? Then the item is carried. Thank you. 12.2, Councillor Performance Report for September 2024. Do I have a mover for this motion?
Yes,
Thank you, Councillor.
Deputy Mayor. I'm happy to move that Council receive and note the September 2024 Council Performance Report as attached.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wood. Does anyone oppose this motion? No, then the item is carried.
Yes, thank you.
Stevens.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just before I proceed, there's one small little error in that report where it talks about the issuing of notices for the November quarterly rate notices, and in the report I notice it refers to October 2023 as when they will be sent out. Well, clearly, obviously, that should be October 2024. I think most matters in the report are fairly self-explanatory. I think the financial report and other financial indicators all indicate that the budget is well on track for the 2024-25 year. The only thing that really stood out to me was, and I think it's in the dashboard, for the number of cyber threats that we've received. I think in the last quarter, something like 11.6 million, up from 5.1 million. So I think it just proves that we need to be eternally on vigil for any threats to our IT systems, and it's becoming obviously a bigger problem as time goes on. The only other observation I'd make there is that we recently had a business continuity exercise which indicated that I think our systems are very stable and are meeting these threats. But yes, we can't let our guard down because it's an ongoing issue. Apart from that, as I indicated, all our performance indicators show that we are on track, and so the first quarter, I think we can be pleased with the way we've received income and expenditure, and we'll review it again, of course, at the end of the December quarter. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. And we'll move on to item 12.3, consideration of the 2023-24 annual report. Do I have a mover for that item?
Yes, Mayor. I move that Council consider and receive the annual report 2023-24 as presented by the Mayor in accordance with Section 101 of the Local Government Act 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Rossetti. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Mackenzie. And is anyone in opposition of that? No, then I'll take the item as carried. Councillor Rossetti.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Acting Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Chair. I'm sure I'll get the right term there in a moment. Well, I won't go into the great detail because we are in caretaker mode. I'll just commend the annual report to the community. It's actually a great way of finding out what Council is doing and what they do right through the whole Shire. In fact, I even just did a quick Google search then on simply putting in Wellington Shire annual report and came up with the one from last year. And it's full of great facts, even if you just want to talk about and spruik about our own community. The fact we've got 45,754 people, 11,000 square kilometres, 11,979 families. That was last year. I'm sure people have been working on that and getting them bigger. But it is a great way of knowing what's going on in our communities. It's a pretty easy read. There's some great pickies in there, but there's some really good data and detail. We are obviously required to produce this each year according to legislation, but it is of great value for people who choose to find it and have a read of it.
Thank you, Councillor Rossetti, and I certainly am a big advocate of our annual report because it actually tells our community exactly what we're doing and where the money's going. So thank you very much. We'll move on to item 12.4, the Biannual Audit and Risk Committee update. Do I have a mover?
Yes, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Stephens.
I'm happy to move the recommendation that Council receive the biennial report on the Audit and Risk Committee's activities, findings and recommendations for the period April 2024 to September 2024 as attached.
Thank you, Councillor Stephens, and Councillor Wood is a seconder to that motion. Does anyone oppose this motion? No? Then I'll take it as carried. Councillor Stephens.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Council is required to receive this report now biannually, every 6 months, and it basically gives a summary of the actions of the Audit and Risk Committee. You'll remember that the Audit and Risk Committee is made up of 3 independent members and 2 councillors. Our independent chair is Mr Chris Badger. We also have Tony Smith, Sarah Heath at the moment, and the 2 council representatives, Deputy Mayor Yu and myself. I think it's fair to say that the Audit and Risk Committee continues to function at a very high level with great input from our independent members. I'll be honest, they leave me in their wake. The amount of work that the independent members do in reviewing papers and asking questions, and they do an outstanding job. But we've functioned together very well for the last 6 months, and it's great to see that we have worked well. We are very appreciative of the detailed papers that the council officers provide to the committee, and I think it's the oversight is really important, and the committee also works extremely well with both the internal auditor, HB Man Judd, and also the external auditor, and the members of the committee have to do an assessment of how they see the committee functioning, and pretty much that's we get a very positive and have had very positive returns in the last couple of years as to the way the committee is working. And my final comment is that, of course, I just note that Sarah Heath didn't reapply to become an ongoing member. There is a limited term for all the independent members of the committee, and I'd just like to thank Sarah personally for her input into the committee and wish her all the very best for the future, Deputy Mayor. So thank you.
That's well said. Thank you, Councillor Stephens. And I'd also like to send a shout out to Cheryl Saynor, who actually captures all of the information that the Audit and Risk Committee discuss, and she puts it all together and doesn't sweat anything in regards to what has to be done. And I just want to say thank you, Cheryl, because without her hard work, I don't think the ARC would be what it is today. So well done to her. So with that, I'm moving on to item 13.1, where I shall declare a conflict of interest as per section 128 of the Local Government Act, and I shall leave the room. Thank you. And I'll hand over to Councillor Stephens.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Wait till you're absent. Yes, so I would, item 13.1, the monthly planning decisions for August 2024. Do I have someone that would like to move that? Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. Ooh, that was interesting noise. That was the
I think we need to
microphone.
re-oil the microphone, Councillor Tatterson.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. I'd move that Council note the report on recent planning permit trends and planning application determinations between 1 August and 31 August 2024.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Rossetti, I think you might have just briefly won the hand there. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Tatterson.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Only just quickly to note, the report is in the minutes or on the agenda, and there is 49 approvals have been issued during the month, and there's a breadth of approvals from right across the whole of the Shire. So thanks to our hard-working planning team for their efforts in ensuring that we continue to have development within the Shire.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tatterson. I think we can have Councillor Marr back in. So I'll seamlessly hand back to you to continue chairing the meeting, Councillor Marr. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Stevens. So we're up to, let me see, item 13.2, Strategic Land Use Planning Project Review Group, third quarterly report. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Tatterson.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. I move that Council receive the third quarterly update on the Strategic Land Use Planning Work Program included in the attachment, Current Strategic Planning Work Report.
Thank you, Councillor Tatterson. Do I have a seconder for this? Thank you, Councillor Mackenzie. Is anyone in opposition of this motion? No, then it is carried. Councillor Tatterson.
Thank you. Just a few key items to note. The West Sale Airport development, there's some further technical reports that have been received. The MAFRA structure plan that was adopted early in the year, our staff have been continuing to work on costings for key infrastructure to support the future growth in investment and provide for sustainable housing for our community in MAFRA. The Warwick development plan is progressing, and the renewable energy readiness study is continuing to have work done on it. So I congratulate our staff and particularly our strategic planners on the work that they've done to ensure we've got a well-planned future.
Thank you, Councillor Tatterson. Completely agree. We'll move to item 14.1, Community Asset Committee's Annual Report 2023-24. Do I have a mover for this motion?
Yes, Deputy Mayor. I'd like to move 1, receive and note an annual report highlighting the activities and performance of 5 community asset committees for the period 2023-24, and 2, acknowledge the volunteer contribution made by the community asset committee members during this period.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stevens has seconded. Is there anyone in opposition to this motion? No, then the item is carried. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Background of this motion is that Section 65 of the Local Government Act 2020, the Act, provides for councils to establish community asset committees for the purpose of managing assets within the municipality and requires the CEO to submit an annual report to Council in relation to the activities and performance of these committees. The following community asset committees, say again, the beginning of the sentence. The following community asset committees are currently established in accordance with the provision of the Act. The Bryaglong Recreation Committee, Cameron Sporting Complex Committee, Gordon Street Reserve Committee, MAFRA Recreation Reserve Committee and the Newry Recreation Reserve Committee. The report summarised the activities and performance of these community assets committees during 2023-24. For this report, activities are summarised of general information and key achievements provided by the committees, whilst performance has been assessed against the powers duties and functions formerly delegated to its members. So the Briag Rec Reserve has a cash reserve of $15,000. During the period, their key achievement was that the committee is focused on addressing maintenance issues and users have worked on increasing participation. The performance of the committee continues to face challenges regarding volunteers and has arranged a prison crew to support regular mowing once a month. Despite regular requests, the committee has not operated within the requirements. The delegation does not provide appropriate reporting. Council officers will continue to offer support to improve governance processes. The Cameron Sporting Complex Committee have cash reserves of $106,000. Key achievements: the committee continues to work with council officers on significant maintenance issues such as lighting, roof leaks and sewer pump. The committee has been able to operate within the powers, duties and functions delegated to its members, including holding an AGM and regular general meetings. Gordon Street Rec Reserve, cash reserves has approximately $18,000. Key achievements during the period: the committee has worked through governance processes, improvements and working with community groups on the establishment of a community garden. The committee has been able to operate within the powers, duties and functions delegated to its members, including an AGM and regular general meetings. The Maffra Recreation Reserve Committee has cash reserves of $20,000. Their key achievements: in the committee managed and successfully delivered the replacement of the operable wall in the function room and are working on replacement of electronic scoreboard. The committee continues to hold significant events at the reserve. Their performance has been able to operate within the powers of duty function delegated to its members, including holding an AGM and regular general meetings. The Newry Rec Reserve has approximately $30,000 cash reserve. Their key achievements is the Newry Golf Club have completed the move into the Rec Reserve club rooms and have invested significant funds and volunteer hours into addressing maintenance issues. Their performance has having a small committee membership, and the committee has been able to operate within the powers, duties and delegate function of the members. Now, out of those, I have been the sitting councillor on the Briag Rec Reserve, the Gordon Street Rec Reserve, Maffra Rec Reserve and the Newry Rec Reserve. And I must say firsthand that the volunteers are absolutely integral. And remember, they are volunteers. They're volunteering their time with the subsidy that they receive from the council to keep all their area in tip-top condition. And they just work for the community. So I would like to congratulate each and every one of those volunteer communities that without them, we would be lost in the Shire with just, these are just a small amount of volunteers. So I'd like to thank them very much for what they do, and I'd also like to thank their families who don't have them at home for a certain amount of time. That their families are allowing them to volunteer for the greater community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper, and I would agree that our volunteers are the backbone of our community, and I would like to thank them all for the work that they all do. Moving on to item 15, which is further gallery and online comments. I would ask if there's anyone in the gallery who would like to speak. And there's nobody, so I'll move on to online comments. Have we received any online comments?
None, Deputy Mayor.
None? Okay, well, before I close this meeting, I'd like to take a moment. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to my fellow councillors, our dedicated staff, and in particular, our CEO, David Borkham. Over the past 4 years, we've worked together with a strong sense of collaboration and a shared commitment to serve our community. The leadership and support from our CEO and his team have been invaluable, allowing us to navigate challenges and to accomplish so much. I truly appreciate the leadership and professionalism that you have brought to our workplace, and I think that it's certainly been a privilege working with you, Mr. CEO, and everyone else here. And I certainly look forward to seeing what the future has in store for the Wellington Shire and its community. And I'd just like to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and I'll make sure that message is passed on to all staff who
That'd be great.
do a great job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I draw our last meeting to a close at 5:25 p.m. So thank you and farewell.